Hi everyone, it's me, Moonlight Guidance. Very impromptu video today. Now, there's something very important happening astrologically, which I feel like you really need to know, which is why I just decided to turn my little camera on and film in this way. So this is very different to what I usually do, but it's so important because there is an eclipse coming. And not only that, the eclipse is actually coming with, dun 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 dun, a full moon in Virgo. Okay, so I've shuffled my cards here. I'm going to take about 10 cards from the top of this and a few from this particular oracle deck. The first card that actually, when I was shuffling, came out here is the Five of Wands. Okay, so first and foremost, full moon in Virgo. You see, Virgo is known to be about overthinking. Virgo is known to be about order and organization, but sometimes, okay, it's overly organized. Sometimes we overly compartmentalize. Sometimes we do too much planning, right? And one thing can knock another thing off. So say, for example, I'm just going to give an example. You have an entire day planned out and it is to the T, but one thing gets delayed, which knocks everything off. What's really important to know during a full moon in Virgo is do not make excessive plans. Now, this is going to be sort of over the next 24 to 72 hours because the energy of a full moon stays for about 3 days. And it's very potent during this time. What's really, really vital here with the Five of Wands is also just understanding that people right now are overthinking. People right now are very, very sensitive. People right now cannot handle conflict. You will find people that are very, very defensive right now that are only going to see their own perspective. So if you find that something could easily go towards a conflict, whether it's in love or some kind of friendship or in a work environment, it is really vital to try to de-escalate rather than escalating things, because no matter how much you explain yourself to these people, they will not be in a place to understand things because they are so highly protective of their own personal energy during this time. It's not a time where they can empathize or necessarily sympathize with you or try to navigate conflict or understand your perspective. It's a time where they are just how do I say it, full of themselves. Okay, so this is very important with the Five of Wands. Now is the time to understand that there is a wave coming and you must ride that wave. It's not about fighting the wave. It's not about thinking, do you know what, I'm just gonna pretend like the wave isn't there, or I'm just going to ignore the wave. It's about riding that wave, because trust me, you want to be able to surf on top of this wave and not get swept up by it. You don't want to be drowning in it. It's going to be much worse coming out of it. Okay, it's a full moon in Virgo. It's going to bring up little nitty gritty things. You are going to find that communication is difficult with people because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. We are going to enter also into a Mercury retrograde. It is going to make your life hell. Trust me, okay? I'm saying this from a place of like, I had to turn my camera on and give you this video because it's so, so important. If you have a disagreement or a problem with somebody now, it will carry on for at least the next month, which is why de-escalating problems right now is the best thing that you can do. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't set boundaries or you shouldn't talk about things that really hurt you. I'm just saying that if you want to fix problems with somebody and then you're adding fuel to the fire, it's not going to help you for the next month, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Absolutely have healthy boundaries, protect yourself, take care of yourself. But what I will say is that if you're trying to fix certain things with people right now, they are going to be very, very defensive. They can become passive, and it's just going to actually make your life worse. It's going to make your life more hell, basically, in trying to do that, because they're not going to be in a place to understand, because all they're going to be overthinking about is themselves and their own energies and their own attitudes. This is not a fixing time. This is a time of basically being diplomatic, okay? You'll see this also in the media of how there are going to be fallouts between people, places, countries, things like that, because communication is just going to be like on the edge, and it has been on the edge for about the last 2 weeks as well. So if you've seen, you know, people falling out, countries falling out, it's because communication is not in a great place, because there is a shadow of the Mercury retrograde as well. And remember, Mercury and Virgo are tied together, and there is also an eclipse, okay? So this makes people get tangled up, basically, okay? Things get tangled up, people's energies get tangled up, people can't understand themselves. There is, you know, especially in the work environment, you may find that people don't understand your perspective, they don't want to respect you, or there's just people creating disharmony, lots of arguments, challenges. If you've submitted forms and you're waiting for a response, you feel like you're not getting it, or that they lose it and then you have to reapply. And trust me, this right now, next 72 hours will magnify this for you. And you will also be able to see that during the Mercury retrograde, okay, which will follow after this, what really needs to be diplomatic with, like what you have to be diplomatic with, okay, because that will serve you for the following month that basically goes into sort of like May time, okay, because April to May. I know that we are currently in March, but basically this will go into April, and then you'll come out into May feeling better, basically. All right, let's have a look. So we've got the Four of Cups, okay? Four of Cups, again, if you are pointing out certain things that you need from a relationship, certain things you need from a person, they're not giving it to you right now, it's because the time right now is just not the time, okay? People are looking inwards. They don't want your extra, sounds awful to say, but they don't want your extra emotions. They don't want your extra nagging. They don't want your extra things. And I know that sounds awful. It's just that people are in that introspection. You may find that yourself, that you don't want people to put extra things on top of what you already have on your plate. Similar, right? Very similar. You may find yourself thinking to yourself, oh, why are these people like nagging me even more? Why is this person not willing to listen to my perspective? Like, why can't they just leave me alone? You may even be sitting at home sometimes and you get an invitation to go out and you're thinking to yourself, no, like I just want to sit at home, you know? This energy is very, very powerful during this time. Five of Pentacles. You may also feel very lonely. You may have this sort of fear of missing out. It's the energy that Virgo really takes you into, is sort of thinking like, okay, I like my solitude, I like my peace, but also what else could be out there? You may find that people are going to an event that you're not invited to, and it bothers you, it frustrates you, it aggravates you a little bit. But at the same time, you don't want to go. There's a bit of a contradiction there, but it's something that you can feel, okay? It's just something that you can feel, because you would much rather have the invitation and say no to it, like this particular thing that I'm seeing here. But there's another thing here where you won't get invited and you have the fear of missing out because you were not invited, because you were neglected in it, or you were basically excluded. So there is that here, which is interesting. Let's get an oracle card actually in regards to that. Ooh, Sapphire. Wow. So you see, this is also Virgo energy. Sapphire, I believe Sapphire is actually the birthstone crystal actually of the Virgo energy. So it says here, my mind is a channel for wisdom of spirit. Got Sapphire. So this is insight, wisdom, awareness. You will also find out who is truly there for you during this time and who isn't. So basically, if you are being excluded out of things that you think you should have been invited to, you will realize who is really there for you and who isn't, who is considerate versus basically being a snake, who you should step away from. That's why you're getting annoyed and frustrated with some of these people, is because they don't invite you when you should be invited, and you would much rather than say no, but to have that satisfaction that you got invited. So we got here the King of Swords, okay? Right now, King of Swords, try and be diplomatic. King of Swords, okay? This, whether you're male or female, this is the energy that one must be in, okay? It just has to be. If you want to win the next 2 months, I'm just saying, be diplomatic with people. Get your job done. Talk to people, you know, but just try and be diplomatic. You can tell people in a nice way if they bother you or if they frustrate you. There's no point having arguments. There is no point having arguments. Arguments are just not going to get you anywhere. And I know that some people feel like, oh, but what if the other person starts an argument? This energy, very important, at least for you to stay in this energy, okay? Got the Nine of Swords. A lot of overthinking, very Virgo energy, okay? If you find yourself feeling like you are overthinking a lot, it's next 72 hours, you may find that you're overthinking, you're being quite critical, you're being very nitpicky. It's a very strong Virgo energy, and it's not your fault, okay? Very important, not your fault. Try to I'm just picking up on things like lavender. I'm picking up on sleeping well, in the sense that try to do things that allow you to sleep well. Put your phone away, put any kind of distractions away, maybe read a book instead of being, you know, scrolling online. Nine of Swords, prioritizing your sleep and not blaming yourself for things that you could have done better in the past. I think the blame game is not going to help you, because you know what, the Virgo energy with the full moon is going to bring up a lot of things in your past that maybe you should have done differently. But let me just say, sometimes it's not always in your hands, okay? Sometimes it's also in other people's hands, so don't blame yourself completely for this. 9 of Swords, feeling guilty for something you should have done. Now's not the time to think about that. Now is the time to stand in your personal power, to be diplomatic, basically, in your personal power. 9 of Swords, something really is bothering you, though, in regards to what you should have done in the past. It could be that you were maybe even rejected by a person and you feel really helpless and hopeless, like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? But I think that's all kind of in hindsight. It's just that the full moon energies are bringing that up right now. Hanged Man, yeah, very in your head, which again, very Virgo, okay? Very in your head. You may also find that you have some digestive problems in terms of just stomach. You know, your stomach is feeling anxious. You may feel agitated because of overthinking. We've got 7 of Swords here, okay? Be careful. People are not in a good energy right now. Be really careful of people that backstab, treat you horribly, lie, steal, cheat. Stay away from these people. But especially during this time, 7 of Swords, it's not good, right? People are in an argumentative state, and if you can stay out of that state, you win these next couple of months. There will be a lot of people, I'm not saying this specifically for you, but if you stay in an energy of becoming defensive, unable to navigate any conflict, you're adding fuel to the fire. There are going to be people that will go through hardships, breakups, and challenges because they just couldn't hold their tongue at an important time. And, you know, then they get overly emotional and overly swept up. You will feel overly emotional during this time. And so this reading is going to help you to not get into that place where you then ruin things for yourself. So really, the 7 of Swords here shows that, you know, for some of you that maybe didn't watch this reading, the next 2 months could have looked very, very different for you. But because you will adapt some of this advice, you will become a bit more calm in a very, very tense time. And actually, you will win. You will literally win. I'm not joking. The 7 of Swords is a warning. Oh, there you go. Look at that, Sun. You are going to win. You are going to be more positive than most people during this time. You're going to be a lot happier than most people at this time. You're going to win a lot more. There you go. 10 of Cups. You can actually save relationships that could have broken during this time. You will actually love yourself during this time. You will be patient with yourself during this time. You will do more self-care during this time. You will not be upset at people that disrespect you during this time, because you know that right now the time is just one where everyone is all over the place, and you will win. Basically, some of you will save your relationships, some of you will save yourself, some of you will save you know, things that could have gone horribly wrong just out of emotion and an emotional time. Okay, let's have a look again here. We've got here Angel Aura Quartz. So it says higher self, intuition, peace. Good things are happening to me. Exactly. Comment that down below. Good things are happening to me, because you know what? During this really difficult time, you're going to win. You're basically going to act from your higher self, which is also Hanged Man, okay? Hanged Man is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is a planet of spirituality. It's conducted with your highest self. You will have more intuition, which then brings you more peace. You will act from a place of your higher self during this time. And when you do that, okay, regardless of if there is an eclipse, regardless if there's a Mercury retrograde coming, regardless of if Virgo is going all crazy, okay, and regardless of the full moon in Virgo, because you are acting from your higher self and you are doing things that really serve you and are for your benefit, and you are doing things in a way that works with your energy rather than getting swept up by the energies, you are going to win, because you're riding the waves. You're working with the energies rather than resisting it or problems being created. That is then going to help you tremendously. So this is your reading. If this resonates with you, please like, comment down below, subscribe. I do also have, you know, personal readings, services, intention items, rituals, etc. Please check everything out down below in the description box below if you are interested. Everything's always listed down below, and I will see you all very, very soon. But yeah, there's rituals, intention items, services, everything's on shopmoonlightguidance.com.